Yo, Elliot. So we got a pretty typical question, and one that I'm probably going to catch some heat for my answer on, but it comes from our buddy Matt Wells, and he's studying to be a certified personal trainer, spending a lot of money on the textbooks and whatnot. He wants to become a really good coach, a really good trainer. He's asking me for advice. Go figure. And he wants to know where does Elliot get his information from? More specifically, what type of scientific research and studies do I read besides the scientific journals in exercise and physiology? So it will surprise you or not to know that I don't read any scientific studies. I don't read any scientific research. I'm not interested in what they have to say based on the studies in their journal. And it has to do with my basic philosophy of bringing back the subjectivity of learning and intelligence, as opposed to the far imbalance, the incredible imbalance that we've gone towards, heavily weighing towards objectivity in everything. Every scientific research is objective, which is what makes it powerful. I am removed from it, and I'm looking. Maybe I'm removed from it, right? Because a lot of times it's like those scientific studies and those research journals and the findings is somewhat subjective, because, well, who paid for that study? You know, it's funny, I love reading nutrition research funded by Kellogg's, General Mills. General Mills owns and started the largest nutrition university in America. I almost went to CW Post. CW Post, owned by Post Cereal Corporations, has a great program for nutritionists. Go figure, right? So everything that's coming out of there is funded by the cereal fucking company that produces grains, that is also using genetically modified ingredients, crops from Monsanto. I mean, and then the government is basically all infiltrated by Monsanto. I mean, our president just signed into effect to allow this evil corporation to not tell us when they've poisoned our foods. But you know, that's neither here nor there. That, again, now I'm becoming subjective. I'm becoming my opinion. So most of what you read and most of what you think you're receiving and most of what people hold dear to their hearts based on scientific research and studies is tainted. Not only that, but because science is so awesome that it's objective, it stands back from it, true science will always change. True science, as they will continue to dig deeper and deeper and deeper into what basically is everything, right? Physics, matter, which they've discovered really isn't matter, it's energy, right? Will continue to dig deeper, 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 and deeper. So the minute you think you've got something, I got it, this is the answer. Oh, well, it was the answer. I mean, there's shit that we believed was hard facts. I mean, people died. Thousands of people died to support hard facts that in a couple decades, a couple generations, was like, oh, that's a complete figment of our imagination. That's a myth they used to believe. And even if the evidence is objective, our perspective changes. So, poof, right? It's gone. So to read all the studies that you could read, to read all the scientific findings that you could read, and to honor, appreciate, and respect it as if it's gospel, as if it's the final word, it's foolish, in my opinion. Besides, reading that shit is boring, okay? What I invite people to do, what I have subjected myself to, is to honor your subjectivity, honor what you've discovered, what works for you. And that's going to require, see, I come across as I'm very confusing to people, right? I've got one eye different than the other. I look like one race, but I'm not the other, and then I'm kind of like mixed. And then I say one thing and then I contradict myself. This fucking Elliot Hulse, it's like, oh, we can't pin him down. He's all over the place, right? What I invite you to do is to balance your subjective understanding, balance your experience, balance what you personally observe and feel while you're training other people, while you're reading books. Balance that with your ability to communicate, right? how could this guy be so fucking nuts, but yet he communicates so eloquently? That's going to require your ability to use the right words. If you want to be very good at what you do, study the symbols that represent the higher ideals and higher ideas. Study words. Study and memorize the names of muscles. You should know your anatomy. You should know your anatomy inside out. There's no question about anatomy. Anatomy is, that's what it is, right? There's your heart, and there are the chambers of the heart, and then there's the left ventricle, right ventricle, and they can see what it does, right? This one expands, this one contracts, and the blood goes and it's oxygenated, boom. It's over. Like, honestly, we figured that shit out a long time ago, right? You can appreciate anatomy. You can appreciate physiology. Those are concrete, very evident, undisputable ideas. Understand and be able to relate the words associated, the symbols that are associated with each one of those things. So to be a tremendous strength coach, you want to be able to have the tools, which are symbols that represent what's happening in the body, and you want to be your own scientist. You want to subject yourself to experiences, your clients to experiences, and then have the words. Because it's in the words, it's in the symbols that we're able to gain respect for our ideas. A lot of people know shit, right? Like, that's why they call it bro science. A lot of guys are like, they got good bro science because they subject themselves, they have good feelings, they understand at a visceral level what's going on, but they have no fucking vocabulary. Words are the symbols by which you will give meaning to your subjectivity. If you want to be great at anything, if you want to be highly respected at anything, much less exercise physiology and anatomy, exercise science, you want to understand and be able to use a large plethora, that's a word for you, a plethora of words, symbols associated with it. So that's it, man. Take your test, do what they ask you to do the little scientific studies that are like, they've got like ranges of error that are like gaping wide, but yet they're willing to put concrete stamps on what is and what isn't, but then they'll change their mind a couple of years from now. Anytime somebody feeds you something that's truth, only for a little while, or only to them, right? Yeah. Anyway, so that's the end of my rant. Study words, study anatomy and physiology, understand the components of what it is you would like to share with people, and subject yourself to experiences that will allow you to express yourself intelligently. And that's it, man. Peace. Yo, Elliot.